I think I kind of like hurt Doug Gilmour's feelings in that moment, but I've never been a hockey fan. I've never been a Leafs fan. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm the Lit Wizard and I must say you are looking incredible today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I want to talk about my signed book collection. It's not huge. I have 15 books that I want to show you today. Some of them are special collector's editions that I've received, and others are gifts that were sent to me by the author themselves or opportunities that I had when I met the author in person. I'm going to run through them in no particular order, but I am going to save a couple at the very end that are really special to me that I want to be able to share with you and talk a little bit more about, so stay tuned for that. The first one that I want to talk about today is the first one that I've actually received from the Sci-Fi and Fantasy subscription club from the Broken Binding. This just showed up the other day, and that is All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu. A really gorgeous edition. Not at all what I was expecting to get. It's going to be my first Ken Liu book. I've been putting off some of his other books that are on my shelves and kind of waiting, but I think this is a great place to jump in and start. It sounds like something I'm really going to love. It's absolutely gorgeous. On the inside comes a little sticker there, and then you can see his signature there on the title page. Even the, oh, I dropped the sticker. Oh no, okay. Even the actual hardcover underneath the dust jacket is really gorgeous and well cared for and well thought about. Well thought through, maybe is the right way to put it. Just looks really great. It feels really good in the hands. It's gonna look really great on the shelf, and I'm very excited to read it. Hold on while I get that sticker. It's me, I'm back. Got the sticker. Cool, great. That's the first book that I want to show you. I'm really excited about this one. If you've already read this, let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited to share my thoughts with you when I get to it. Now, the next two on my list are from the same author, and they're kind of part of the same series as well, so I'm going to share them both with you at the same time. The first one is from one of my favorite horror authors. Well, I mean, they're both from the same person, like I said, but from one of my favorite horror authors, and that is David Moody. I've talked about the first book in the series before, which is Hater, that I have on the shelf back here. It's a horror series. It's kind of like zombies, but without zombies, so you have this kind of like sickness that overtakes people, causes them to hate each other, people that weren't turned like them, and makes them kind of like fight back against the other side. There are two different trilogies, each showing a different side of the perspective. This is book 3 in the first trilogy. He had reached out to me. I talked to him a little bit. I interviewed him for that podcast, and he was nice enough to send me a signed copy that's made out to me. And then when the first book in the next trilogy came out as well, he was nice enough to send me an art of that, an uncorrected proof, and signed it as well for me there. Could not be a nicer guy. He did not have to send me these things all the way from the UK to Canada. Very much appreciated, and they are now prized parts of my collection. The next one I have here, I have shown off on my channel before, but that's a signed copy of Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Anyone who's watched my channel before or is part of my community knows how much I enjoy his writing and how much I enjoyed this book in particular, which has recently been turned into an Apple TV series. This one has sprayed edges, really cool textured design on the cover, and is signed inside as well by Blake Crouch. I appreciate when they're signed directly on the paper and they're not just like those little card inserts. This is a favorite of mine. It's always displayed predominantly on my shelf. Love this book, love Blake Crouch. Really happy to have this be a part of my collection. If you haven't read this yet or haven't read anything by him before, I recommend starting here or starting with Wayward Pines. The next one on my list is one that I had ordered special that was delivered to me. This is the signed first edition of Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. This is another author who I've never read before. I still haven't read this. I just thought it was really beautiful. I loved the premise of the book, and I'm really excited to get into it. This one is signed as well on the little insert title page there at the beginning, and it also has a really gorgeous hardcover under the dust jacket. It's another author that I just keep putting off, but I'm really excited to get to. It's another one where I'll definitely be updating you and letting you know my thoughts. The next one is another book that I ordered from the Broken Binding. I ordered this for myself as a birthday present. It is the first book in a trilogy, I believe. Another one that I've been putting off for a long time, but I'm also really excited to get to, and that's The Harbinger of Justice by Andrew Watson. I've always been a fan of Andrew Watson's booktube channel. I love the premise and where this book takes place. It's something that I've always been interested in. I'm a part of Andrew's online book community as well, and some of the conversations I've had with him I attribute to my own success and enjoyment of booktube. So I was really excited to be able to add this to my collection. Got a little sticker in there signed by Andrew Watson, and this is another one that I always display predominantly on my shelf behind me. I know that I haven't read it yet, but I do know that I'm really going to enjoy this, and it was a gift to myself. It's gorgeous, it's thick, it's heavy, it feels expensive, and just really nice to hold. And I just like it, and I think it's neat. The next one that I want to talk about is a book from one of my favorite authors, from one of my favorite series. Another book that I've talked about here on this channel before, and that is book 1 of A Darker Shade of Magic. This is a copy, again, that I kind of treated myself to when it came out. I had already read the series and really enjoyed it, but I did want this kind of like special edition signed copy to go on my shelf just because I love V.E. Schwab and I love this world and the characters. It's got some really nice artwork as well. A really nice hardcover under the dust jacket, and it's got the signature from V.E. Schwab here. Where is it? right here on the first page in the book. This is one, if you haven't read A Darker Shade of Magic before, I highly, highly recommend. I know it's got some mixed reviews, especially lately in the booktube community, but if you're a fan of fantasy, if you're a fan of like good world building, character building, and fun magic systems, I highly recommend checking this one out if you haven't already. The next book on my list is a book that I found many years ago and talked about on my book podcast, and it's a book that takes place, it's kind of like a historical fantasy fiction that involves the Catholic Inquisition and werewolves. The first book in the series is called The Damned by Tarn Richardson. After I did a review of this and spoke with him as well, he was kind enough, again, an author from the UK, who reached out, sent me some like signed little postcards, and sent me a signed copy of book one as well, with best wishes and The Odd Nightmare by Tarn Richardson. This is another one where like he didn't have to do that. There was no reason that he needed to send me this. He's just a really nice guy. I've continued to have conversations with him over the years. He writes great books. I know he's writing some more books as well that he's teased me with a little bit. I'm excited to see what he does next, and this is another book that I'm very lucky to have in my collection. Next, we've got one of the newest signed books in my collection. I literally just received this yesterday and finished reading it this morning. It's a quick novella of just over 100 pages, and that's Animals by Jared Edson. I previously spoke about a Jared Edson book on my channel about a month or so ago, maybe a couple of months back, and that was The Boulevard, which was the one that was about Van Gogh and the devil and a train ride through hell. I really enjoyed that book. I did a really good review of it on my channel and on Goodreads. He was kind enough to reach out to me when this book came out and asked if he could send me a copy just as a little gift, which I really very much appreciate. He signed it and made it out to me. A bit of a weird one, but hoping you enjoy it. Best of Things, signed November 1st, 2025. This book kind of reminded me of Tender as the Flesh, but not as much of like an extreme horror. The idea with Animals is it kind of takes the idea of sport hunting and flips it on its head in a really interesting, surreal kind of way. If that's something you think you might enjoy, I highly, highly recommend reading this. Really quick read. Read it while I was having my coffee this morning. Absolute blast. I know I say that with books a lot, but it really is. I had an absolute blast reading this. Really fun read. Couldn't recommend it more. Check it out. Check out The Boulevard. Great guy, great author. Next is one that I was sent for review a few months ago, but have not had the chance to review yet. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very much something that I would get into and that I know I will probably enjoy when I read it, and I'm hoping to read it before the end of the year. And that's book one of Method of the Kill, Beasts of London by Jonathan Maloney. This version of this book is just absolutely gorgeous. It's got the gold foil, got the sprayed edges, and then on the inside here, oh, where is it? We do have a signature from him as well, and a little note from the publisher from when they sent me the book. It's so nice of them to send this to me. I try and feature it on my channel when I can, just because it is really gorgeous and it does sound like something I'd really enjoy. The back of the book says, Bartholomew knows who killed Jack the Ripper. In the dark streets of deepest London, Bartholomew searches for answers, but when the answers find him, he's thrown into a hidden world of the unknown, the unknowable, and the downright monstrous. So I know this is a book with like beasts and magic and fantasy and apparently crime and mystery around Jack the Ripper. It takes place in London, obviously. It sounds awesome. I'm really excited to read this, and I know that I will get to it this year. But another one that's on my list that I very much appreciate, wanted to share with you again, Beasts of London, Jonathan Maloney. Check it out. Now, just last weekend, I was out doing a little bit of running around, hit a Christmas market, and at that local Christmas market, I did not expect to see a table with a local author that I hadn't heard of before. I stopped by, talked with him a bit. He told me a bit about his books. He had 3 of them that he had published that he had on the table available for sale, and I grabbed 2 of them. The first of which is Peak by Eric Sparling. This says, Phil Truss is a dead man walking, and an inoperable brain tumor has sealed his fate, and there's nothing he can do about it, even with his substantial fortune. But he can decide how to live his last remaining days. And what he most wants to achieve is a feat few ever have, summoning the dreaded mountain K2. It's the second highest peak in the world and one of the most treacherous and deadly ascents known to man. Guided by a team of world-class climbers, Phil soon finds himself scaling the slopes, his dying wish in sight. His dream quickly descends into a nightmare, however, as a series of mysterious and lethal events plagues Phil and his party, and he begins to sense that they're not accidents. So it sounds like a nice quick thriller. It's under 200 pages. Sounds like it's going to be a really quick read. I'm excited to get into it, and he was nice enough to sign this as well. The other book from him that I picked up is more of a fantasy novel, and one that I'm looking forward to as well, and it's called Fort Luck by Eric Sparling. Again, he's got this signed for me on the inside. The back of the book says, your neighbors will fight for their homes or die in them. The settlement of Merritt is under siege. A young village woman, 4 strangers, and the garrison of Fort Luck are the only hope. Pitted against them are the undead horde, demons from beyond Earth, and a necromancer who feeds on the living. That sounds awesome. This book is about 400 pages. The font inside is like a pretty decent size. So again, I think this will be a fairly quick read, a couple of days or a week at best. I'm again trying to feature more indie authors and smaller book publishers on my channel as I can, trying to do at least one a month. So I'll definitely fit one of these in, hopefully before the end of the year, if not in January. Next, I've got one of my mom and I's favorite authors. So she got me into this author when I was a teenager. They're kind of like a crime thriller writer, and that is Canadian author Rick Mafina. I had reached out to him many years ago. I had asked if he could sign some books as like a surprise Christmas present or maybe a birthday gift for my mom. He was nice enough to do that and sent a few different books over, including one that hadn't been released yet. And at the same time, he sent one over for me because he knew I was a fan as well. So this is the one that was included as kind of a surprise that's signed to me instead of her, that says all my best, Rick Mafina. He's still writing. He puts out great books. I'm very behind on his books. It's not a mood that I've been in recently, but if you're kind of into like crime thrillers and fast-paced thrillers, this is an author that I highly recommend picking up. He is a retired journalist, so a lot of his books feature like a different journalist who's uncovering this crime and trying to figure out what happens. Now, the last two that are on my list here are a couple that I had mentioned at the beginning of this video that are kind of special to me. They were books that aren't signed or made out to myself, but they were books that I got signed and made out to my dad as a birthday present. You'll be able to tell by the first one here, I haven't looked at these in a long time. I'm going to add them to my shelf behind me, but they've been in a box that's upstairs in my storage room since he passed away in 2020. But he was always a really big fan of Red Green. Red Green was doing a book signing near my home at the time, so I went, met him. If I can find the picture that I have with him, I'll share it here on the screen. Any Canadian who's watching this is going to know exactly who Red Green is. If you don't know who Red Green is, definitely look him up on YouTube. But I was able to meet him in person, and oh, it looks like my dad snuck this in there as well. He was a Habs fan. This is the 1992 to 93 Montreal Canadiens. For the Montreal Canadiens fan that dream for another cup, Habs fan survival kit. What is this? Okay, this is like a nice fun surprise that we're having together right now. Montreal Canadiens fan survival kit. Penny for good luck in winning a game. Starburst for a burst of energy they may need to finish the game. Stick of gum to help the puck stick to their stick so they can make a play. Velcro for when you need to get a grip. Mint to keep your cool under pressure when they are losing yet another game. Band-Aid to help fix any hurt feelings that may occur with yet another loss. Button. Sometimes you may need to button your lips, you are so mad. Eraser to erase away all the pucks that missed the net or didn't go in. Tissue to wipe away the tears when you lose yet another game. Stanley Cup, something they might dream about next year. I'm assuming this probably came in like a little bag with some of those items in it as like a survival kit for Habs fans. He must have come across this at some point or just like held on to it and snuck it into this book for safekeeping. So I'm going to put it right back in there. That's the kind of guy he was, the kind of sense of humor he had. That actually plays really well, actually, into the next book I'm going to show you after this. But he made this book out to my dad, to Mike from Red Green. Really cool. He was so excited when he received this. I gave him this and the next book at the same time. The next one was more of a joke, and you'll see why. A perfect segue. This was another signing. I think it was like the week after Red Green. It was at the same chapters at the time, and that was the book Killer by Doug Gilmour, who was number 93 for the Toronto Maple Leafs when I was growing up in the 90s. Again, my dad was a big hockey fan, always tried to make me a hockey fan. I've never been a sports guy. I don't really know a whole lot about Doug Gilmour other than the fact that he was on the Leafs. My dad being a big Habs fan, I thought it would be hilarious to give him a signed copy of Killer by Doug Gilmour. And he'd still think it was kind of cool given that he's actually, you know, he's a hockey fan in general, but the Habs were his team. Leafs were a close second. Obviously, if the Habs were out, he'd root for the Leafs. He just wanted a Canadian team to win. Didn't happen. Again, in his lifetime anyways, but I was able to go meet Doug Gilmour. I was able to get this signed as well. And it says happy birthday Mike with a 93 and Doug Gilmour's signature in there, which is a really cool thing to have, I think. Still, funny story with this one is when I went in to get this signed, I waited in line, I met Doug Gilmour, I told him that my dad was a big fan and wanted this signed, and he was like, oh, that's really cool, are you a fan, would you like to take a selfie? And I said no. And the look on his face was like kind of disappointed. He was like, oh, like he seemed, I think I kind of like hurt Doug Gilmour's feelings in that moment, but I've never been a hockey fan. I've never been a Leafs fan. Maybe I should have said yes and printed it and put it in here also as a joke, just to be nice. But I don't know, wasn't for me. Didn't care to have a picture taken with Doug Gilmour. Sorry to Doug Gilmour. Best wishes. Hoping you're having a great time. But that is my signed book collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hype the video if you have the option for that below as well. I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you have any signed books in your collection? If you do, which one is your favorite? And if you don't have a signed book in your collection, what would be your absolute holy grail book to have signed? If you'd like to join our growing, exciting community, you can do that as well. We have a link down below to join our Discord, absolutely free. If you want to support the channel, you have the option below for that that as well, we'll have a link to our Patreon in the description. Just a way for me to be able to share some additional perks with you if you'd like to be able to support the channel. I don't like to push it, it just is what it is. I know there's some people who like to support the channel and like to be able to help us make additional content, and I really very much appreciate that. Shout out to all of my Patreons who are currently subscribed. That community is growing as well. We do an exclusive quarterly read, and the read that we're doing right now is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. If you'd like to watch another video, I highly recommend that too. There will be a link at the end of this to another video that you can watch. As always, thank you so much for watching. Reading is a treat, and so am I. Goodbye.